Night folds over the old world, and everything is gentle. Above the silent ruins of Babylon, the moon glows like a slow heartbeat. Its silver light drifts across the stones, touching the carvings that once held the names of kings. Breathe softly, in through the nose, counting to 4. Hold for 7, and let it fall away for 8. Your body begins to settle. The night welcomes you. You are safe inside the ancient light. A faint fragrance of myrrh lingers in the air, warm, resinous, like time itself remembering how to breathe. From the far river, a ripple hums under the stars. Every sound is a small echo of stillness. The first symbol appears, a silver river winding through the shadows, reflecting the stars of Chaldea. The second waits beside it, a sleeping flame, steady in a clay lamp, its glow pulsing with the rhythm of breath. These two will return again and again as night deepens, river and flame, memory and rest. You do not need to fall asleep. Sleep will quietly find you. Let the air move softly through your chest. Let the day slip away like sand to an open hand. Somewhere in the distance, the call of an owl fades. The temples rest, the gardens sleep, and the stones remember. For now, you stand before the breath gate, the place between waking and dream. Step through it, gently. A cool mist brushes your skin. The air tastes faintly of cedar and starlight. Your heart slows, following the rhythm of the moon. And in the stillness, the river of light begins to flow. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You walk along the quiet terraces of Babylon. The air is warm and still, yet it hums with something older than sound. Each step touches smooth stone, shaped by hands that once built towers for the stars. You pause beside a basin carved from pale basalt, where the moon rests like a silver coin upon the water. You dip your hands into it. The surface shivers. Ripples widen and fade. The reflection reforms, patient and whole again. Somewhere nearby, a lamp flickers inside a clay recess. The flame breathes with you. You lift a small vessel of oil, perfumed with cedar and myrrh, and pour 3 drops into the basin. The scent folds into the night, slow, resinous, ancient. You trace a small circle upon the surface, the motion steady, unhurried. The oil glides across the water, forming thin lines that catch the moonlight, trembling like veins of liquid silver. The ritual is not about memory or faith. It is about rhythm, the rhythm of water and breath, of silver and skin. When your fingers move, the light shifts across the walls like the soft pulse of time. A soft wind brushes through the hanging vines, carrying the scent of warm earth and faded rain. Around you, the gardens whisper, palms rustle, vines descend from terraces higher than sight. Somewhere above, a pool overflows, and the water falls in thin silver threads. The sound joins the breath of the city, ancient and endless. Lanterns glow faintly through the leaves, painting slow circles of amber on the marble paths. Every sound seems to fold into the next, until silence becomes part of the air itself. You glide your hand along the marble ledge. It feels cool, grounded, real. Then you raise your eyes to the horizon, where the moon floats over the ruins. Its color is neither white nor gold, but something between, like dust remembering light. In that glow, you feel the entire empire exhale. The stones do not speak, yet they seem aware. They have seen the rise of kings and the quiet after their fall. They have felt the footsteps of priests, the songs of harvesters, the prayers of mothers. and still the moon returns. Always the same, always calm. You kneel, resting both palms against the earth. You imagine the slow turning of the stars above the tower of Etemenanki, a temple once called the Gate of Heaven. The city is silent now, but its geometry remains perfect beneath the sand. Circles, lines, altars, channels, order without motion, stillness without end. You trace the air above the ground as if mapping invisible lines of the old ziggurat, feeling the symmetry that once guided thousands of hearts to look upward. A soft breeze moves the curtain of vines, scattering droplets into the air. They drift like dust of light, vanishing before they fall. Somewhere far away, a night bird calls, its echo lingering over the sleeping city. You close your eyes and let the sound pass through you like a ripple across still water. Moonlight rests on the smooth stone. You hear distant water flowing below the terraces. The scent of myrrh and cedar curls softly in the warm air. A thread of cool marble presses against your palm, grounding the breath that moves through you. Time does not vanish here. It folds gently. Every moment lies upon the next, like thin silk. The builders, the priests, the merchants, all their footsteps remain woven into the quiet dust. You realize that history is not gone. It is merely asleep beneath its own rhythm. The moon's reflection teaches you this. What fades is never lost. It only changes form, waiting to be seen again in another light. The night becomes slower. You feel your mind follow the pulse of stillness. There's no need to remember the story of the empire, only to listen to the hush between heartbeats. The quiet becomes its own kind of language, one that speaks in the spaces between breaths. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your body settles a little deeper, as if the earth itself exhales beneath you. You sense warmth spreading through your chest, a soft current flowing outward to your fingertips. Silver mist moves gently through the quiet air. The gardens fade into shadow. The moon glows brighter, and from the far river, the silver current begins to hum again, like a memory returning through water. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You ascend the narrow steps that spiral through the heart of the gardens. Each stone bears the soft imprint of countless feet. Yet tonight, they are cool and empty. The air carries a trace of moisture, the perfume of leaves brushed by moonlight. Above you, the terraces unfold layer upon layer, a floating world of roots and shadows. The city below is gone to sleep. Only the whisper of vines and the rhythm of dripping water remain. You reach the first landing, where a marble basin gathers water from unseen channels above. You kneel beside it, watching the thin stream fall in silver threads, one drop after another. Each drop breaks the surface like a single note, clear and slow. The reflection of the moon ripples softly, reforming with patience, as if the light itself refuses to vanish. You lift your hand, catching a droplet on your skin. It is cool and fragrant, tasting faintly of stone and night air. You move through archways veiled in ivy, your fingers tracing the damp walls. The texture is smooth in places, rough in others, breathing with age. Lanterns hang in quiet alcoves, their wicks dim but steady. The scent of myrrh drifts upward, mingling with the sweet breath of flowering palms. Everywhere you look, the garden breathes. The soil exhales, the roots hum, the water answers. At the next terrace, you pause. A pool stretches before you, its edge lined with clay vessels and folded cloths. You dip the cloth into the water and wring it gently. The sound is soft, rhythmic, like distant rain. You press the cool fabric to your face and feel the night settle deeper into your skin. It is a small ritual of cleansing, yet it feels eternal, an act repeated through centuries, unchanged. You light a lamp beside the pool. The flame trembles, throwing long shadows across the vines. The reflection of the lamp wavers across the water, joining the reflection of the moon. Two lights moving together, never touching, always circling. You breathe with them. Inhale, exhale, your chest rising and falling like the surface of the pool. Somewhere beyond, a night breeze stirs the hanging leaves. They rustle like quiet applause, then return to stillness. The fragrance of oil and damp earth fills the air. You close your eyes for a moment, and the sound of dripping water becomes a soft heartbeat beneath your thoughts. In this suspended moment, Babylon feels weightless. The terraces seem to drift, supported by nothing but the calm rhythm of the night. Every arch, every vine, every leaf seems to hold the memory of hands that placed it there. The builders are gone, but the silence they left behind remains sacred. You remember the legend that the gardens were made for love, a desert queen longing for the scent of her mountain home. Here, even longing has become part of the wind. The air itself remembers tenderness. Moonlight slips through the foliage, painting ripples across the marble floor. You reach down, tracing the glowing lines with your fingertips. The stone feels alive, pulsing faintly beneath your hand, like something breathing beneath the surface. Above, the stars rest in the still water, as if they too have come down to sleep. Lantern light flickers along the path ahead, leading to another archway of stone. You rise, carrying the lamp in both hands, the flame steady now. The scent of cedar follows you, mingled with the quiet sweetness of blooming jasmine. Each step you take echoes softly, the sound vanishing before it can reach the next wall. The air thickens with warmth. The silence becomes velvet, dense, but kind. You pause again at the terrace edge. Below, the city stretches in faint silver lines, streets, temples, and walls half hidden by shadow. You feel the distance between earth and sky vanish for a moment, and the world becomes a single breath of stillness. The moon hovers above the city's edge, calm and infinite. You whisper to yourself, not in words, but in rhythm, just the sound of breath, the motion of a quiet devotion. There is nothing to remember, nothing to solve, only the steady return of light upon stone. The scent of jasmine thickens. Droplets fall from the leaves, each one catching the lamp's glow before disappearing into the pool. The night deepens, wrapping you in a slow current of peace. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your shoulders soften. Your heartbeat slows to match the rhythm of the dripping water. A thin veil of mist gathers between the vines, glowing faintly under the moon. It drifts like a silver curtain, parting as you walk through it. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You follow the quiet sound of water through the lower terraces. The air grows cooler here, touched by the breath of the river. A thin mist drifts across the path, curling around your ankles as you walk. Somewhere ahead, you hear the soft rhythm of flowing water. The Euphrates, moving through the heart of the sleeping empire. You step out from the shadow of the gardens. Before you stretches the great river, wide and slow, shining with the silver reflection of the moon. The current moves like liquid glass, silent except for the faint murmur of ripples against stone. It feels alive, like something that remembers every hand that has ever touched its surface. You kneel at the edge and touch the water. It is cool, almost cold. Your fingertips leave circles that drift outward, fading into the light. The scent of river reeds mixes with the faint sweetness of lotus petals carried by the current. A faint breeze moves through the palms, rustling their leaves in soft applause. You reach for a clay cup resting on a carved step and fill it halfway with river water. The motion is slow, deliberate. You raise the cup toward the moon as if in offering. A few droplets fall back into the current, flashing like tiny stars before they disappear. You take a sip. It tastes of stone and silence, of something ancient and unbroken. Around you, the world narrows into rhythm, the flow of the river, the beat of your heart, the breath in your chest. You begin to hum softly, without melody, just a low sound that blends with the whisper of the current. It feels as if the water hums back, echoing through your bones. The city sleeps behind you, but here, everything is awake in stillness. You close your eyes and see stars reflected behind your eyelids. They seem to float both above and below, the heavens and the river mirroring each other in perfect balance. Perhaps this was why the Chaldeans watched the sky so closely, because it was only a reflection of the waters they knew. The constellations were not distant gods, but the river's dreams written in light. You draw a small circle in the damp sand with your finger, tracing the pattern of one of those constellations. The grains sparkle faintly under the moon. Then you smooth the circle away with your palm, returning it to quietness. There is peace in erasing what you no longer need to hold. A fisherman's boat drifts by, its lantern glowing like a second moon. He does not speak, and you do not wave. The distance between you is filled with water, silence, and understanding. The sound of the oar dipping into the river repeats like a heartbeat. Moonlight rests on the river's skin. You hear the soft rush of water against stone. The air carries the scent of lotus and distant cedar. The sand beneath your knees feels cool and grounding. You lean forward, letting the reflection of the moon wash across your face. It is gentle, pale, and endless. The light seems to breathe with you. Inhale, exhale, each motion slower than the last. You can almost feel the stars moving above, slow rivers of fire winding through the dark. Time folds here. The past does not vanish. It drifts beside you, carried by the same current that once touched the hands of kings. Every empire that stood beside this river is still here, sleeping in the water's memory. You are only another ripple in the long flow of light. There is no need to name yourself. The river already knows. A thought rises and fades, that nothing truly ends. It simply returns in another form, another tide, another breath. The river does not resist. It carries everything, and so it endures. You feel that same endurance echo in your chest, quiet and steady. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your body loosens, sinking into the rhythm of water and night. The edges of the world soften. The sound of the river becomes the sound of sleep. Mist gathers above the surface, swirling in threads of silver light. It glides across the current like a living thing, vanishing as it touches the far shore. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You cross the silent courtyards where the air smells of cool stone and faint incense. The moon hangs low now, silver and round, casting narrow shadows along the paths of baked clay. Before you rises the dark outline of Etemenanki, the tower that once reached for heaven. Its layers are silent, but they hold the weight of countless prayers. You stand at its base and feel the quiet hum beneath your feet, a memory still breathing through the ground. You walk forward slowly. Your hands brush the ancient bricks, each one slightly warm from the day's vanished sun. The texture is rough, yet comforting, as if the walls recognize your touch. You place your palm flat upon the stone, and in that moment, the air seems to deepen. Somewhere within the tower, a small flame flickers, a relic light that has not gone out. You climb the first set of steps, wide and shallow, worn smooth by centuries of devotion. The silence grows thicker as you ascend, broken only by the sound of your own breath. Every few steps, you pause to rest your fingers along the railing, tracing grooves carved by forgotten builders. They once believed this tower was a bridge between the worlds of dust and stars. Tonight, under the pale light of the moon, it feels exactly so. At the second terrace, you find a shallow altar. Upon it rests a bowl filled with ash and a single glowing ember. You kneel and breathe softly over it. The ember brightens, a small red heart awakening within the grey dust. You feed it with a pinch of fragrant resin, and smoke begins to rise in thin white spirals. The scent of frankincense fills the air, sharp, clean, eternal. The smoke drifts upward, curling into the sky like the handwriting of the gods. Your eyes follow the trail of smoke until it merges with the stars. The night is vast, but the flame is calm. You realize that the builders did not raise this tower to challenge the heavens. They built it to remember them. Each layer was a breath, each stone a heartbeat of devotion. To climb it was not to reach God, but to return to stillness. You move onward. The stairway narrows. The air thickens with dust and silence. Here, the smell of old incense lingers, sweet resin, oil, and smoke that has clung to the stones for 1,000 years. You touch the wall and feel a faint vibration, as if the tower hums in tune with the earth. For a moment, you stop climbing and simply listen. You hear the low wind moving through the hollow corridors below, like the sigh of sleeping giants. At the final terrace, the world opens around you. The entire plain of Babylon lies beneath a blanket of silver. You see the gardens below, the river winding like a thread of light, the city walls resting in patient symmetry. The sky is enormous, filled with stars that seem close enough to touch. You lift your hand toward them, fingers trembling in the thin air. It feels as if the universe breathes back. You light another small lamp and place it upon the altar. Its glow joins the moonlight, warm and alive. The flame bends in the wind, but it does not go out. You lower your shoulders and exhale slowly. Every tension begins to fade, melting into the sound of the wind. Moonlight rests on the stone beneath your hands. You hear the faint hum of air moving through the tower's hollow core. The scent of frankincense lingers like a memory made visible. The surface of the bricks feels dry and ancient, but steady beneath your palms. time slows. It feels like standing inside a single breath stretched across centuries. The city below seems to dissolve into mist, and only light remains, pale, endless, forgiving. You understand now. The true tower is not made of brick and clay. It rises within you, built from breath and stillness. Each inhalation, another step. Each exhalation, another prayer. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your arms relax. Your heartbeat slows to match the quiet rhythm of the wind. The tower hums softly around you, like a lullaby from the earth itself. Far below, silver mist begins to drift across the plain. It moves like a living thing, wrapping the city in sleep. The flame beside you flickers once, then steadies. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. The air carries the faint sweetness of olive leaves and warm sand. You descend from the tower's terraces into the outer gardens, where twilight lingers like a slow exhale. The sky is no longer deep night. It glows with the last blue of memory, soft as silk, unhurried as breath. Around you, the earth hums in low tones. Roots, stones, and wind all share one rhythm. You walk barefoot along a path paved with pale tiles. Each step leaves a shallow print of warmth. The stones themselves seem to remember the touch of countless feet. Priests, wanderers, lovers, each passing through the same still hour before sleep. To walk here is to move through the breath of every life that has ever rested in this garden. You reach a fountain at the heart of the dusk. Its bowl is carved from rose-colored stone, smoothed by centuries of flowing water. The sound is soft, almost a whisper. You lean forward and watch the moon's reflection break into ripples. A leaf drifts across the surface, golden and slow. It spins once, twice, then settles against the rim, unmoving. The scent of olive oil lingers nearby. You find a small clay lamp resting beside the fountain. Its wick is unlit, its surface cool beneath your fingers. You pour a thin line of oil into the lamp, tracing the shape of a crescent. The smell deepens, earthy, calm, clean. When you light it, the flame rises softly, bending in the wind, its glow the color of honey. The light dances across the stone walls, revealing engravings of vines and flowers. Shadows move with them, like breathing. The fountain's rhythm, the rustle of leaves, the hum of distant water, they weave together, forming a pattern older than language. You close your eyes, listening not with your ears, but with the quiet beneath your thoughts. You sit upon the low wall, resting your hands on the cool stone. The night breeze moves gently through the olive branches, their silver-green leaves trembling like tiny mirrors. For a moment, the entire garden feels alive. Each breath of air, each flicker of flame, each grain of sand. It is not stillness without motion, but motion so gentle it becomes stillness. You sense that this place was never meant for worship, but for remembrance. Here, the Chaldeans met not gods, but time itself. They understood that the sacred is not hidden in temples. It rests quietly in the act of noticing. The water falling, the air cooling, the lamp burning. Each is an offering of attention. The faint sound of footsteps echoes through the garden paths, yet no one is there. Perhaps it is the wind, or perhaps the garden remembering how to breathe. You bow your head slightly, acknowledging the presence of all who once walked here. Their silence joins yours, folded neatly into the dusk. The The colors of night deepen, indigo melting into silver. The last warmth of the sun lingers on the stones beneath you, fading slowly with every heartbeat. The flame beside you sways, but does not waver. It feels as though it knows you, as though it has been waiting through centuries for this quiet moment of awareness. Moonlight rests on the fountain's surface. You hear the gentle trickle of water flowing into hidden channels. The scent of olive oil and sand fills the air. Your fingers trace the smooth edge of the stone, following its coolness. Time unfolds like petals opening under a hidden sun. Each second is soft, endless. You begin to realize that there is no border between now and then, between what was and what is. Every breath you take repeats an ancient rhythm, the same rhythm that moved through this garden thousands of years ago. History does not speak, it hums. And you, for this brief moment, hum with it. The night grows thicker, tender and vast. You tilt your head back and watch a line of clouds drift across the moon, pale and slow, like ships made of light. Your eyelids grow heavier with each breath. The sound of the fountain deepens, becoming a lullaby that fills your chest. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your shoulders soften. Your spine sinks gently against the air. Everything feels light, as if gravity itself is falling asleep. A fine layer of silver dew gathers on the leaves, glowing in the faint firelight. It moves with the wind, trembling, almost alive. The flame bends once more, steady and kind. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You walk toward the edge of the city, where stone gives way to sand, and the scent of salt hangs in the air. The path winds downward between crumbling walls, faintly lit by torches that flicker like tired stars. Each gust of wind carries the faint creak of ropes and the hollow breath of waves striking wood. The harbor of Babylon sleeps under the moon, a cradle of ships resting in dark water. You reach the pier, and the boards shift softly beneath your feet. The sound is old wood sighing, a deep rhythm that echoes through the still night. Lanterns sway from tall posts, their light trembling across the surface of the river. You can see the reflection of sails folded tight, the faint outline of masts pointing toward the stars. Everything here waits, held between the pull of the water and the hush of the air. A small boat drifts near the pier, its hull carved from cedar. You kneel beside it, running your hand along the grain of the wood. It is rough and alive, scarred by journeys and salt. The rope coiled at its bow smells faintly of hemp and rain. When you touch it, tiny drops of water cling to your fingers, cool and clean. You light a lamp and set it upon the edge of the pier. The flame bends in the breeze but does not fade. Its glow spills across the rippling water, creating a golden path that stretches toward the far shore. The ripples shimmer, catching fragments of moonlight until the river looks like a living mirror. Somewhere in that brightness, you feel time folding again, past and present, floating side by side. You sit upon a weathered crate, the wood creaking beneath your weight. The air is filled with small sounds, ropes shifting, waves murmuring, the faint flap of an untied sail. The smell of salt is sharp and sweet. Somewhere nearby, an unseen sailor hums a low tune, a fragment of a song that drifts in and out like the tide. You close your eyes and listen until the melody becomes breath itself. The harbor feels endless. Its silence is not emptiness, but fullness, the quiet of things waiting without hurry. Ships that once carried copper, spices, and words rest here as if dreaming of distant lands. Their shadows touch the water, long and patient. The night wind moves between them, whispering through ropes and hollow beams. You rise and walk to the very edge of the pier. The boards are damp and smooth, cool beneath your bare feet. You crouch and reach down, letting your fingers trail in the current. The river hums softly against your skin. You can feel the pulse of the water, strong, slow, and eternal. You take a deep breath of the salt air, and for a moment, the entire world narrows into rhythm. The breath, the tide, the quiet movement of stars. Everything flows, nothing resists. You understand that peace is not stillness, it is surrender. Even the strongest current cannot harm what floats freely. You open your eyes again. A single ship begins to drift from the dock, guided by the invisible hand of the current. No one rows, no one steers. The lantern at its bow glows like a small sun in the mist, moving without sound. You watch it pass into the darkness, its reflection fading into scattered sparks. Moonlight rests upon the deck beneath your feet. You hear the wooden ropes creak in answer to the wind. The scent of salt and tar fills your lungs. The cool air touches your skin, leaving behind the faint memory of rain. You think of the people who once stood here, traders, builders, lovers, wanderers, each saying farewell to something. Every departure is a kind of prayer, every return a quiet mercy. And perhaps, in the end, all journeys are only circles, rivers returning to the sea, breath returning to silence. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your chest softens, your hands relax, your eyes grow heavy. The waves move in slow patterns, each one quieter than the last. You begin to feel the weight of your body dissolve into the rhythm of water. A silver haze settles across the harbor, soft and glowing. It floats low over the boats, wrapping the masts in mist. The flame of your lamp flickers, steady and kind. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You leave the river behind and follow the wind toward the desert. The path is nothing more than pale sand, rippling beneath the moonlight like water turned to glass. The air is thinner here, dry, weightless, filled with the faint scent of dust and date palms carried from far oases. Every sound has fallen away except the hush of your own footsteps. You climb a low ridge where the dunes open like waves frozen in time. The sky unfolds above you, wide, endless, bright with stars. They burn cold and near, scattered across the heavens like 1,000 small fires. Each one trembles in the thin air, and you imagine them whispering to one another. Ancient voices carried through light. You spread a silk veil across the sand and sit down slowly. The fabric glows faintly under the moon, soft as breath. You rest your hands upon your knees and close your eyes. The wind moves gently through your hair, the grains of sand shifting beneath you in tiny sighs. It feels as if the earth itself breathes, a vast, patient creature beneath your skin. You light a small lamp beside you, shielding the flame with your palm. The desert wind bends it, but the light remains steady. Its glow touches the sand, revealing patterns left by insects and the faint marks of old footprints. No one walks here now, yet you feel the presence of countless travelers, the caravans that once crossed these dunes with salt, gold, and dreams. Their songs are gone, but their rhythm lingers, carried in the slow pulse of the wind. You reach into a small jar and draw out a pinch of fine powder made from dried date palm leaves. You let it fall into the flame. It burns with a pale green shimmer, then fades into a faint aroma, sweet, smoky, and familiar. The scent folds around you, soft as the memory of warmth. It anchors you to the moment, drawing the world closer, quieter. Above, the stars shimmer like silver coins dropped into a well. They seem almost within reach. You stretch your hand toward them, fingers trembling in the cold light. For a breathless instant, you feel the distance dissolve. You are not beneath the stars, you are among them. The desert hums. Far away, dunes move in their slow, imperceptible drift. 1,000 grains slide against each other in the dark, the softest song in the world. You listen to it, the music of stillness, the sound of time eroding and returning endlessly. Moonlight rests on the sand around you. You hear the sigh of wind moving through unseen valleys. The scent of date palm smoke curls faintly above the lamp. The silk beneath you feels warm where it touches your skin. You remember a story whispered in the old markets of Babylon, that the stars were once the eyes of wanderers who never returned. Each one, a soul that learned to rest by shining. You smile softly at the thought. Perhaps peace is not found in arriving, but in glowing quietly where you are. You lie back, letting your shoulders sink into the sand. The sky curves around you, vast and weightless. Your breath slows until it matches the pulse of the earth. Somewhere in that still rhythm, you feel your body release its boundaries. There is no edge, no difference between skin and air. You are part of the same calm that guides the dunes, the same silence that guards the stars. The wind changes direction, cool and patient. It brushes over your face, carrying a scent like sweet rain that has not yet fallen. Your lamp flickers once, twice, then steadies again. It seems to breathe with you. Time thins. Thoughts scatter like grains of sand in the wind, each one fading before it lands. What remains is simple, a heartbeat, a whisper, a pulse of light. You understand without words. Everything you let go of becomes part of the stillness that carries you. Even the stars will one day sleep, and in their silence, something new will rise. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your arms sink deeper into the sand. The lamp's glow softens to amber. Your eyelids grow heavy with the weight of infinite quiet. A cool veil of wind sweeps across the dunes, scattering silver light. The flame bends low. Bowing to the night, the desert exhales. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You awaken in the stillness between valleys, where the air is thin and crystalline. The desert has folded into mountains, and their shadows lie vast and blue beneath the moon. The wind has changed. It no longer hums, but whispers, brushing against stone and cedar as if it remembers a language older than speech. The path ahead glows faintly, a ribbon of pale dust rising toward the stars. You begin to climb. The rocks beneath your feet are smooth, cool to the touch, worn by time and wind. Every few steps, you pause to breathe, slow, deliberate, each inhale carrying the scent of pine and night frost. Far below, the plains shimmer faintly. silver threads of river and sand merging into one dream. Up here, the world feels distant and kind. You rest beside a small pool formed by mountain rain. The surface mirrors the moon so perfectly that for a moment you forget which world is above and which below. You dip your fingers into the water. It is cold enough to make your skin tingle, but the sensation fades quickly, replaced by calm. Ripples spread across the surface, dividing and returning, their edges catching starlight like 1,000 whispered breaths. You light a small torch of pine resin and set it beside the pool. Its glow is golden, steady, fragrant. The smoke rises in thin streams, curling against the cliff like prayer made visible. The mountain absorbs the warmth without sound, and the torch's reflection trembles upon the water like a heartbeat. The air hums with distant insects, the sound soft and irregular, blending with the slow sigh of wind through stone. Somewhere high above, a white bird crosses the sky, silent as falling snow. Its wings shimmer briefly in the moonlight, then vanish into shadow. You feel its movement not as sound, but as a ripple through stillness. You remove your sandals and stand barefoot upon the rock. The ground is cold, grounding. You lift your arms and breathe with the rhythm of the mountain. Each inhalation feels like drawing in the ancient air of the earth. Each exhalation feels like giving it back. There's no separation now, only the steady exchange between body and world. You close your eyes and begin to count softly, not numbers, but breaths. The rhythm carries you deeper. 4 in, 7 hold, 8 release. Your shoulders loosen. Your heartbeat slows to match the silent rhythm of distant water trickling through stone. The world contracts to the sound of breath and the echo of your pulse. Moonlight rests on the pool's edge. You hear the faint murmur of insects hidden among the rocks. The scent of pine smoke curls upward, cool and resinous. The air brushes your skin like silk woven from wind. The mountain's silence is not empty. It is filled with presence. It feels alive, yet content to be unseen. You sense that it watches over the world without expectation, without movement. Its strength lies in stillness. You wonder if this was what the ancient priests sought to understand. The way immovable things can carry the rhythm of life without ever stirring. You kneel and touch the rock beside the pool. It is smooth, ancient, cold. You imagine the rain that shaped it, the frost that cracked it, the sun that once burned upon it. Everything that ever touched it remains here, folded into the grain of its memory. You realize that the mountain does not change. It remembers differently. You lower your head and your breath touches the surface of the water. A thin mist forms between you and your reflection, blurring your face until only light remains. The moon seems to float inside you as though you have swallowed its quiet fire. There is peace in that image. No self, no sky, only the pulse of luminous silence. Time loosens. The torch burns low, its flame a small golden tear trembling in the breeze. The stars above shift slightly, their motion too slow to see. You feel yourself sinking into the rhythm between them. The long inhale of the universe, the long exhale of sleep. Inhale slowly. Hold for a moment and let the breath fall away. Your arms drift down to your sides. Your legs grow heavy, your pulse soft. The mountain hums beneath you, patient and sure. Mist gathers across the water, pale and silver, drifting upward to meet the moon. The torch fades to an ember, then to a whisper of smoke. The mountain exhales. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You descend from the mountains, with the pale dawn still asleep behind the horizon. The city rises ahead, its rooftops glowing faintly beneath the moon. From above, Babylon looks weightless, terraces stacked like layers of quiet thought. No voices call out, no torches burn, yet the streets seem alive, breathing in rhythm with the night. You walk along the narrow paths between walls of clay and stone. The air is warm again, carrying a faint sweetness of honey wax and grain. You pass by empty courtyards where jars of oil gleam like captured moons. Each surface, each edge, holds the soft reflection of light, patient and kind. The city has learned the art of silence. It sleeps without surrender. You climb a flight of stairs leading to a high roof. There, a clay bowl rests beside a pile of folded linen. You pour water into the bowl and wash your hands slowly. The water is warm from the night air, shimmering as it catches the moon's final glow. When you lift your face, you see the river gliding below, still silver, still infinite. The world is caught between the breath of sleep and the first thought of morning. From this height, you can see every roof, every garden, every archway. They spread like ripples in stone, an ocean of memory. The domes glimmer faintly, their surfaces dusted with the last grains of starlight. You imagine the city as one vast heartbeat, pulsing softly beneath layers of brick and time. A cat moves across the next rooftop, its steps silent as smoke. It pauses, glances towards you, then disappears behind a low wall. Even the small creatures here know how to live without sound. You smile, the gesture quiet and effortless, and the night smiles back. You sit upon the edge of the roof, legs folded, hands resting upon your knees. The linen beneath you feels smooth and cool, carrying the scent of sun that once touched it. The wind arrives gently, slipping between rooftops, carrying whispers from gardens and wells. You close your eyes and listen. There are voices hidden in that wind, not human, but remembered. The city hums beneath you, speaking in the rhythm of air and stone. You take a candle from a small clay holder and light it. Its flame is soft, golden, and it trembles with each breath you take. You place it beside a small clay tablet etched with worn symbols. They are unreadable now, their edges lost to time. Yet they feel familiar beneath your fingertips. You trace them lightly, and warmth rises through your palm. It is as if the words still live there, buried beneath silence. Moonlight rests on the roof's edge. You hear the soft stir of the river in the distance. The air smells faintly of wax and oil. The linen beside you holds the night's coolness. You begin to understand. The city was never built to defy time. It was built to cradle it. Each rooftop, each courtyard, each flame is a pause, a heartbeat of stillness held inside stone. The people who once lived here did not seek immortality. They sought rhythm, to work by day, to rest by night, to let the breath of the earth pass through them. Perhaps this is all the sacredness the world ever needed. You lie back, your head resting upon the folded cloth. Above you, the stars have grown dim, yet one remains bright, unmoving. You watch it until your eyes blur and it becomes a small flame floating in your thoughts. Somewhere below, a door opens and closes, the sound soft as a sigh. The city turns in its sleep. You breathe in deeply, filling your lungs with the scent of warm air and dust. You breathe out, releasing everything that remains of thought. The night presses closer, tender and endless. You feel its weight upon your chest like a blanket of calm. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your arms grow still. Your heartbeat slows to the rhythm of the wind. You sense that even now, someone in another time will stand here, watching the same moon, breathing the same air. The city does not vanish. It continues in the breath of those who remember. A faint mist drifts from the river, rising between the rooftops like silver smoke. The candle flickers once, then steadies, its flame unafraid. Somewhere, the first bird stirs, but does not yet sing. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. As night returns, the world is calm again. Breathe softly. The ancient light waits for you. You cross the last courtyard, where silence has settled like a thin veil over the stones. Beyond the archway stands the inner sanctum, a chamber untouched by wind or dust. The door is half open, carved from cedar blackened by centuries. A faint light seeps through the gap, trembling on the floor like breath made visible. You step inside. The air is cool and still. It smells of old smoke, resin, and something faintly sweet. The memory of incense long faded. The walls are smooth, polished with care, their surface reflecting the low shimmer of flame. In the center of the room stands an altar of dark stone, simple, heavy, alive. Upon it rests a single clay vessel, filled with oil, the wick glowing softly in a pool of gold. You approach without hurry. Each step echoes faintly, like the heartbeat of the place itself. The flame leans toward you as you near, as if recognizing your breath. You kneel beside the altar and bow your head. The light warms your face. Its glow does not flicker, it breathes. You pour a few drops of water from a small cup into the oil. They fall with a sound like distant rain. Tiny bubbles form and vanish, each one carrying a fragment of reflected light. The flame shifts, then steadies again, growing brighter, gentler. In that movement, you see the two symbols that began this journey, the silver river and the sleeping flame, now joined in stillness. Water and fire, reflection and warmth, dream and memory. You rest your hands on the stone. It is cool beneath your palms, solid, silent. You feel its strength move through you, steady and kind. All around, the room hums faintly, the sound of still air listening. Somewhere, far above, the wind sighs across the roof, and the sound becomes a single note of peace. You look to the walls. Their color shifts under the flame, charcoal, bronze, then silver. Faint carvings emerge, shapes that resemble flowing lines of water, the outline of a crescent moon, the curve of a palm leaf. They are not words, but gestures, traces of devotion captured in stone. Each one feels alive, pulsing with the rhythm of hands that carved them. You close your eyes and imagine those hands, the mason smoothing the final edge, the priest tracing oil upon the surface, the breath of countless pilgrims lingering in the air. Their bodies have vanished, but their stillness remains. The sanctum is not a place, it is a pause, a held breath between worlds. Moonlight rests faintly on the floor, slipping through a small crack above the door. You hear nothing but your own breathing. The scent of resin hangs low, warm and thick. The air feels smooth against your skin, almost weightless. You begin to whisper, not words, only rhythm, a soundless prayer made of breath alone. It moves through the room, touching the walls, the flame, the stone, and then dissolving into quiet. You realize you are not asking for anything. You are simply remembering how to be still. Time drifts. The light of the flame softens, its edges melting into the air. Your heartbeat slows until it becomes one with the pulse of silence. Even thought feels distant now, a faint echo carried away by the breath you release. Nothing here demands, nothing resists. Everything rests. Inhale slowly, hold for a moment, and let the breath fall away. Your shoulders sink, your fingers relax. The world narrows to warmth and shadow. The flame leans once more, as if bowing to you. A soft mist gathers near the floor, catching the glow of the lamp in rippling silver. It spreads outward, folding over the stone, rising like a low tide of light. The air thickens, glows, then fades again. The flame remains, smaller now, quieter, steady. You sit back upon your heels and lift your gaze to the door. The night beyond is deep and waiting. You realize that the sanctum was never meant to keep you inside. It was meant to teach you how to carry silence with you. When you stand, the flame does not die. It follows you in reflection, hidden but unbroken. The silver river flows again in your thoughts. The sleeping flame glows behind your eyes. They are one now, the current and the light, the journey and the rest. Beyond the quiet gate, another dream begins. Night folds once more across the old world, and everything is gentle. The moon hangs above Babylon, pale and infinite, its reflection trembling upon the quiet river. The city sleeps beneath its silver hush. Gardens, towers, courtyards, and forgotten steps, each one wrapped in a calm that feels eternal. You walk along the riverbank, where reeds sway in the soft wind. The air is cool, filled with the faint perfume of cedar and oil. Every breath you take joins the rhythm of the water, slow and even. Each heartbeat feels lighter, slower, softer. It is as if the night itself breathes through you. The flame that once burned in the inner sanctum still glows behind your eyes. You carry it now, not as fire, but as calm. It flickers softly within your chest, guiding your steps without sound. The silver river winds beside you, its surface glinting with scattered stars. Above, the heavens mirror it perfectly, two worlds flowing together in silence. You pause and kneel at the edge of the water. Your reflection meets your gaze, blurred by ripples. For a moment, it is not your face you see, but the faces of all who walked before you, the builders, the dreamers, the watchers of the sky. Their echoes rest in the current, carried onward through time. The Chaldean Empire has fallen, but its stillness endures. It lives wherever breath meets silence, wherever light meets water. You lower your hands into the stream. The water is cool, smooth, alive. It runs between your fingers like silk, catching small shards of moonlight. You lift a handful and let it fall again. Each drop returns to the river as if it had never left. That is the way of all things, to rise, to fade, to return. The air grows deeper now. The hum of the world slows to a single pulse. Your eyelids grow heavy, but your mind remains awake within the quiet. You begin to count, not numbers, but breaths, softly, inwardly. 20, 19, 18. The spaces between each breath grow longer, smoother. 17, 16, 15. Your body loosens, your thoughts drift like mist. The counting fades, but the rhythm remains. You feel yourself lying beside the river, though the ground is only light. The water hums beneath your heartbeat. The stars ripple overhead. Everything you once called separate, sky, stone, breath, memory, has folded into one endless reflection. The lights have faded, The rivers hum in silver, and you are already dreaming.